You're tuned to Radio Kidnappers, the voice of Hawke's Bay. This is our program called The Wonderful World of Wardini Books, and it's our pleasure, as always, to have in the studio Lou from Wardini Books in Havelock North. How you going?
Very well. Happy December, Ken.
Thank you very much. I should have said The Wonderful Lou.
You should have, really.
Because you are wonderful.
Thank you.
And we were just saying before you came to air, what a great day in Hawke's Bay.
Absolutely glorious, perfect Hawke's Bay day.
I suppose you're flat out like a lizard drinking.
Yep, same as you, I think.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Let's get into the books. And the first one, I love the title. Oh no, look what the cat dragged in.
This is a wonderful children's picture book by Joy H. Davidson, illustrated by Jenny Cooper, New Zealanders. Nice little DHD publishing house, independent publishing house, so really well done. So this is about what the cat dragged in.
Yes.
So it begins, we like to stay with Grandma. She has a big black cat. It likes to go out late at night and drag things through the flap. And the rhymes all work. That's really important in a children's picture book. The rhymes all work really well. It flows off the tongue. The cat makes Grandma increasingly scared and anxious and eventually furious.
Great drawings.
They're brilliant, aren't they? So it goes through the days of the week. When we woke up on Monday, and this is what we found. Look at that. Enormous creepy crawlies were climbing up the wall while a very prickly hedgehog was running down the hall. A large and smelly dead rat was lying on the rug, and a big brown shiny cockroach was crawling up the jug. Look at the dead rat.
That's fabulous,
It stinks. You can almost smell him. So it gets progressively worse and worse, and poor old Grandma's got bags in her eyes and all this kind of thing. And eventually she hits upon a genius solution.
She sells a cat.
Spoilers, no, she doesn't sell the cat. She nails the cat flat shut. He's not allowed out at night. So that's a cracker.
Are you a cat person?
Yeah, we do have a cat.
I hate cats.
We have. Why?
I just hate them. They're so mercenary.
They are a little. Yeah.
We had a lovely cat once, and it went off to live with the neighbours because it must have got better food.
Oh, they do that as well.
And my wife loved it.
No loyalty.
No loyalty.
Yeah.
You know, you just can't trust a cat.
Can't trust a cat.
And our next book is called The Secrets of a Sun King. Is it like an old Inca book?
It's ancient Egypt.
All right.
Well, bits of it are. So this is by Emma Carroll, and she's an author that we really love. She's an English author, and she writes for that sort of 9 to 12 age group. And in this one, young Lillian, she lives in London in 1922. And meanwhile, off in Egypt, it's not ancient Egypt because it's 1922, but Howard Carter is just uncovering Tutankhamun's tomb. And there's all the stories of the curse and Valley of the Kings, all that kind of stuff. Lil's grandfather was an antiques dealer. He is an antiques dealer. And all of a sudden he's struck by a mystery illness and he's in the hospital. She goes around to feed the cat, speaking of cats, Nefertiti, the cat. And someone has delivered a parcel. She takes it home because Grandad's not well. And she opens it up and it's a canopic jar from Egypt. And she starts to think, what if this is related to Howard Carter and the curse and Grandad's cursed and all this kind of thing. So she goes on this investigation. One thing leads to another, and she ends up in Egypt trying to figure out what's going on and trying to save her Grandad's life. So it's very exciting.
Sounds like an awesome book.
It's really good, and doesn't pull any punches. So you find out how the Egyptians embalmed their bodies and pulling the brains out through the nose and all that kind of thing, and also what happened to the heart, which was a little different. And she writes it's just pure adventure, really. So she's absolutely nailed it for that age group.
Would adults enjoy it as well?
Yeah, well, I did.
Yeah. Oh, well, you're a big
I'm
adult.
technically an adult. Yeah.
You're listening to Radio Kidnappers, the voice of Hawke's Bay. This is a program called The Wonderful World of Wardini Books. Lou is here from Wardini in Havelock North, but you've got a store in Napier.
We do, in Hastings Street.
And you'll be flat out selling books and book vouchers, no doubt, for Christmas.
Yeah, all of that, yeah.
Yeah. And our next book is all about a place right here in good old NZ, Rotorua.
Rotorua. So this is by Amy Head, and it's a New Zealand book, obviously. And this is, I think we're in the 50s actually, and Rotorua Island is a Salvation Army island where alcoholic men go to recover. Some of them should have been sent to prison, but they're sent there as an alternative to try and get them straight, so the Sallys are looking after them. And we follow 3 characters. So I'm terrible at remembering the names, aren't I? Lorna's my favourite actually. So she it starts off and her family become involved with the Mormons, and she is only 15 and she falls pregnant to one of the Mormon elders, who then nobs off back to America, leaving her in the lurch. And the family decide to to keep the baby and bring the baby up. So it's her and her later involvement with the Sallies, which is why she ends up on Rotorua Island. And then we have Catherine, who's a journalist, and she is there documenting the men's experiences. And then we have Jim, who's one of the alcoholics on the island. And it's just a really good narrative of time and place. So there's all sorts of things going on in the background. But I learned quite a bit about what went on that island, but also about the Sallies, actually, and the things that
they're a great bunch.
Yeah, the great stuff that they get up to. Yeah. So that's a really interesting piece of New Zealand. I would be not surprised at all if that ends up on our book award shortlist for next year.
They quite often bring New Zealand books in because they're as good as any book. But I wonder, and you obviously enjoyed that book, do our authors sell well overseas?
Some do, yeah. I mean, obviously the Luminaries, when it won the Booker Prize, that was already sold into other countries, and that did an absolute rocket. Who else goes well overseas? Stacey Gregg, a children's author, she sells really well overseas too. There'll be several. Yeah,
sure. Some serious competition, so we can make it up with the big boys, can't we?
Absolutely.
And our last book is, I love the title, My Sister, the Serial Killer.
Yeah, now let me see if I can pronounce this. Oyinkan Braithwaite is the author, Nigerian author, and this is set in Lagos. And I have to read you the first very short chapter. The first chapter. Aula summons me with these words. Kuridi, I killed him. I'd hoped I would never hear those words again. Oh my God! And Kuridi turns up, and Aula is her... she describes herself as a bit plain. She's not the attractive one. Aula is the attractive sister. She's beautiful and she's charismatic, and she has lots of boyfriends, but unfortunately occasionally she ends up kind of killing a boyfriend.
Just here or there.
And this has happened few too many times, and Kuridi's torn between what she should be doing and protecting her sister. She's always protected Aula because the father was a tyrant. So the father is now dead, but she's grown up sorting out the little sister's problems. And Kuridi, the elder sister, works at the hospital. She's a nurse, a very well-respected, diligent nurse, a bit OCD actually, which is good when you're clearing up murder scenes. Very diligent.
Yes.
But she's in love with the doctor there, Tade. And of course, Aula sweeps in one day, and Tade falls for Aula.
All right.
So Kuridi's thinking, oh my God, well, she's actually just hoping that she's not going to
kill him,
bump him off.
Yeah. Oh no.
So it's really pared down language. So it's quick and it's fast, and it's shocking and it's completely engaging.
Good ending?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. I don't know what you mean by good, but I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Good on you, Lou. As always, our pleasure to talk with you. Now you've got something coming up.
Oh, yes. So another regular on Radio Kidnappers, Bhavna Nagar, is launching a book with us on Saturday, the 8th of December. So today.
Yes, indeed.
When this show airs. And she will be at Wardini Books Napier at 4 o'clock, launching her book Self-Love, which is all about realising that you're not the terrible person you thought you were, and actually sorting things out. And she should know because she's an awesome psychologist. So come and meet Bhavna and get a signed copy of her book.
Good on you, Lou. As always, a pleasure. Look after yourself. Talk to you same time, same place next week.
Cool. Thanks, Kim.